As we approach America's 250th anniversary, we're learning about some untold parts of our amazing history. One of them hits theaters today. The new film Pressure tells the dramatic true story of the difficult hours leading up to the decision to launch the D-Day invasion. Ephraim Graham brings us this behind-the-scenes look at this important new movie.
Call General Eisenhower.
Soldiers, sailors, and airmen, you are about to embark upon the Great Crusade. The eyes of the world are upon you.
Pressure brings the World War II pictures and pages of our history books to life with an untold story, the intense 72 hours before D-Day and its delay.
D-Day will be the largest seaborne invasion in history. We invade France Monday.
I'm concerned that what you're saying is impossible.
Brendan Fraser leads the cast.
You played General Dwight D. Eisenhower in this film. What would you say was the greatest pressure of playing him?
Well, certainly the history of who he was, and bringing that to the fore for one fateful weekend before the deployment of 300,000 troops in the face of inclement weather.
There are two major storms advancing towards the Normandy coast, even as we speak.
My men are ready. Get them onto the beaches somehow, anyhow. With waves of 10 feet, we won't be landing anywhere.
I guess the pressure was to make sure that I had a working knowledge of his history, that he did graduate West Point with aspirations to fight in the First World War, felt disappointed that it had concluded before he could. He was a soldier who lived the next 40 years never having fired a shot in anger or was fired at in anger. He was consistently promoted as an excellent strategist, as a diplomat, and for showing excellent leadership skills. And what does it mean to have that? I think the pressure was that I needed to be like Ike. I grew to admire him as a historical figure.
How would you describe those 72 hours? I saw the quote where he said, we had better meteorologists, but how would you describe those final 72 hours?
They had to have been fraught with not just hand-wringing and chain cigarette smoking and coffee quaffing and sweating and raised voices and prayer and disillusionment and sleeplessness. And one can only imagine what that was like, which is what we've done, is give the audience an imagining of what those conversations be with the full knowledge of history as we have it. And to put the two together, the attack was meant to be for a Monday, and it needed to be delayed to the Tuesday because bad weather was rolling in. And up until then, meteorology was largely looking out the window. And relying on analog reports and saying, hey, it didn't rain or snow in 1888 on this day, so we'll be fine.
Group Captain Dr. James Stagg, here at the express request of General Eisenhower.
Do we have a date yet for the invasion's out?
D-Day is in 61 hours from now.
Andrew Scott plays the real-life Royal Air Force meteorologist advising Eisenhower in the face of fierce opposition.
The weather was, as he described, in 1904 and 1925, but he fails to mention 1916, June 5th, the battle for Mount Sorrel. Then, as now, there were areas of high pressure above the Azores, but the storms came anyway. Many people here will remember that battle. Chaos. Absolute chaos. Thousands of lives lost. Hell on earth. Torrential rain. He's selecting the data that suits him and ignoring the rest, and we must face the facts. The facts! However frightening they may be.
It's about the weather in some ways, but it's also about integrity and humility in some ways, because no matter how much power or control we believe we have, we are all at the mercy of nature and the weather.
Where do you think that integrity and fortitude for him came from in terms of your study about him? Where do you think that came from?
I think he was a really humble person. And I think he had great passion for his subject, you know. And so he didn't really need to be the big I am, you know. He didn't need to be, he had a great expertise and a great respect for all the work. He was pretty formidable as a person.
We have 3 hours. Go or don't go.
We have a small window, but the timing must be perfect.
You want me to send my men into the storm?
They'll never see it coming, sir, never.
Why should I trust you? I did learn that he had written a letter in the event of victory. He had written a letter in the event of defeat. We know the one in the event of victory because he prevailed.
Yeah.
But he did take responsibility. I know that he cared intensely for the troops. It's not a stretch of logic to think that he saw them as his own sons. We will accept nothing less than full victory.
One of the most beautiful scenes is the scene before the storm, if you will. They're in church and the voices of the men singing. How important and integral would you say faith was to this mission?
He was a man of faith, that's for true. And I know that it wasn't just the ritual of going to church and prayer. It was knowing that he knew that we're fallible as humans. We are. We do shake our fist at the sky and wonder why. And he did know that we can only keep trying, and what we must do is believe in one another. And if I am to suppose an accurate answer, it would be that the faith that he had in his beliefs was rivaled only by the faith he had in his troops.
If D-Day is cancelled, we will lose this war.
The final decision on the timing of D-Day will be mine, and mine alone. This film exists as a testament now to remind us not only what was at stake at that time, but remind us what leadership looked like then and the reason why we went to war at all in the first place.
Ephraim Graham, CBN News, Los Angeles.
All right, everybody, Pressure is out in theaters. I can't wait to see it. Ephraim told me he loved it so much he's going to see it again. It also has my mother's endorsement, who saw it already in Florida somehow. She said the acting is fabulous, and if she didn't like it, she would have told me. So those are 2 great endorsements. Again, the film is called Pressure.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's a moment in history we should all understand a little bit more about. And, you know, I get the hesitancy in the actors in wanting to affirm what someone was thinking or feeling at that time, but still, historically, worthy of our seeing it.
And this is a different take, the 72 hours before.
Yes.
So, looks phenomenal.
Amazing. Wow. Looking forward to it.